Good morning. It seems to me that lately everyone is talking about MCP, and even though I have been involved with Quarkus and LangChain4j, I haven't had the chance to play with MCP myself. So this morning I will use Mac's blog post implementing an MCP server in Quarkus, and will try to implement one myself. One idea that I had was that I could implement an MCP server that would leverage the Quarkus Backstage extension in order, to help me instantiate projects using MCP. My understanding around MCP is that it's a way to externalize tools that would otherwise be local to your application for others to use. So let's get started implementing an MCP server in Quarkus, blah blah blah. From what I understand, this post discusses about implementing an MCP server for weather forecast related reasons. I won't bother with the details, but I will go here and steal this command that will help me bootstrap hopefully an MCP server myself, and I'll jump to my terminal and I will call it Backstage MCP. Okay, let's jump into the project and take a quick glimpse about what we get. Apparently we don't get any code starts that gives us Java code, and the extensions that we've added, REST client action, the MCP server from Quarkus. Okay. Let's follow the post. Max creates a class called weather, and the weather. Let's go to the code directly so that we can copy and paste stuff. The weather class. Okay, they have a REST client, okay, and then they define tools that are from MCP, and they specify arguments using the tool arg. Okay, so let me create a class org acme backstage in the same spirit as they did, and it will be just a main class, and I will add a method, maybe public void create project for now, and let me see if I can make use of the tool annotation. LSP is not ready yet, let's give it some time. Not yet. Yeah, let me exit and jump back. That usually fixes things for new projects. And now we are able to import tool from MCP server. Okay. I will use no arguments. Let's see if I have to return something back. Maybe I could return the path of the project created. Import path, and maybe I also need to add Quarkus Backstage as a dependency, so let me copy that. And if I remember correctly, the last version of Quarkus Backstage is 0.4.2 or 1. Let's go with 1. And let's see if we can inject maybe the Backstage client or something. Client, templates, what options we have, list, no. So we need template, so let's have it as a parameter. Template name. Instantiate. I don't have empty parameters, so let me just provide an empty map. And maybe I should annotate this with $2larg or something. And why don't I make this application scope? And it must return for now. Let's see what instantiate returns. That doesn't help. Instantiate, it returns a string. Okay, I'll also return a string and check whatever it is. I don't remember by heart. Maybe I should add a description. Yep, description. Backstage template. Okay. And what else? Okay, yeah. Also, I need a description for the arguments. Okay. Let's try to start the dev mode and see what happens. Okay, I've added the Quarkus Backstage dependency to my project, so it creates a Backstage instance dev service, and also a Git dev container for storing Backstage entities, which is nice. So if I jump to my browser and try localhost 8080, I should get what? Nothing? Why? REST client action. Let's try the dev UI. Do I have a dev UI? I don't have a dev UI. Maybe I should have paid closer attention to what the actual blog post did. So let's go back. Oops. So Max creates the project, creates a REST client, okay. I won't be needing a REST client because I'm using the Backstage client. Follow redirects, formatting helpers, implementing tools, which is great. And then they run the service. Interesting. Okay, maybe I need to add also REST or something. Yeah, unless I have the REST, I won't be getting a dev UI, so indefinite. So yeah, let's try that. And also try to start the dev mode, and while doing so, let's see how Max runs the actual thing. Okay, it seems that Max uses Cloud Desktop and configures runs the jar directly. Okay, I would assume that I would be creating a REST server or something like that. Integration with Lines4j. Transports. Okay, maybe it's due to transport being standard input output. Okay, so let me jump back. Let me wipe Quarkus rm construction, and let me try running it as a jar. Okay, so yeah, maybe I meant to write things there. So what's the issue here? Most probably it expects JSON or stuff like that. Okay. Let me see if I can find a way to integrate it to Goose, which I'm using. So let me do Goose configure and see if I can add it as an extension to Goose and check how it works. Built-in extension, no. Command remote or command line extension. Quarkus, Backstage MCP, style JBank. Let's see how Max does it. JBank quiet, and then he just specifies the Maven coordinates. So yeah, in my case the Maven coords should be, let me check. cd demo, cd backstage MCP, org acme backstage MCP. Okay. Quiet, and then org acme backstage MCP version 1.1 snapshot runner, right? No, not yet. Okay, let's try that. Failed to start Quarkus Backstage MCP std.io. Failed to start MCP server from configuration. JBank failed to initialize. Group ID, artifact ID, version classifier. I'm wondering what's wrong in my case. Org acme. Let's try to copy and paste stuff, because I'm very prone to typos. And then run. Yeah, it's still pretty slow, so yeah. I got the same error again. Not sure why. Maybe I haven't installed it locally, don't know. An alternative would be to pass the path to the jar and not deal with Maven artifacts or stuff like that. So let me try it this way. One last time. Org acme backstage MCP 1.0.0.snapshot runner. Yeah, most probably that will fail. Okay, but I can still do jbank minus quiet minus from yokaml demo backstage MCP target Quarkus up Quarkus run jar. Yeah, and that runs. So let me copy and paste that. Yep. We'll paste that here. And we'll try again. Okay, what is it this time? Could not find. Two dots. Gotta love YAML. Okay, let's wipe this and try to reconfigure the extension again. No, goose configure. Add extension, command line extension. Quarkus Backstage MCP. jbank, yay. No. Okay, that's great. Let's instantiate a new project in demo called hello MCP using backstage template with name unknown template. I really wish I hadn't used the stdio extension and explored the alternative of HTTP, because I would then be able, to better debug and troubleshoot and understand what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, it pretty sucks right now. But I do see that it seems that they call the create project method and they specify template name, which seems like a good indication. Okay, let's try something else. Let's add another method in backstage, and we'll call it list available templates. And this time I want to delegate to backstage because I haven't even configured that. So I will just create a method that will return a list of strings that auto list templates will not accept any argument. Lists the names of the available templates. Come on. And I will just return a list of food, bar, bus, and let's see what will happen if we run Quarkus with that. Can we list the available templates in my Backstage installation? Yep, and it calls the list templates and gets the foobar bus back. Okay, that's cool. Okay, let's see what happens and how I could best integrate the Backstage client. So the first thing I need to do is to make sure that I have Backstage properly configured. So let me go back and do Quarkus Backstage template list and see if I can get the actual templates from Backstage. I get an exception, not sure why. Maybe it expects to run the command in the context of the project. That's most probably a bug, but okay, let's try from within a project and see if that makes any difference. Yep, it seems that I have something configured, so maybe I go, because it tries to connect to localhost port 7000, so most probably I have some environment variables, Quarkus Backstage. Backstage URL, no? So it tries the default, okay, Backstage token maybe? No, neither are configured. Okay, let's do one step at a time. Let's try and port forward my Backstage. I have a Backstage installation running in an OpenShift cluster that we maintain for our team, so maybe I could port forward to that so that it can be found in local port 7000. That means let me check first if the cluster is accessible. Okay, it seems that it is. Okay, so let me start K9S in order to do the port forwarding. For some reason the connection died. Okay, let's try. The cluster should be this, and I should be able to connect. Not sure why I can't. Let's try this one. No, I'm not currently connected with Kubectl, so let me connect to the console first. Console, QShift console. Or maybe I could start dev mode from my Quarkus Backstage installation and do that. Or maybe I could try both. Let's see. This was my poor man's password manager for QShift, which is my browser. Let me try again, kubadmin. Not sure what I got wrong. So I will connect to my console, then copy the login command in order to log into that cluster. And let's see if K9S now works better. Yep, it does. And I'm looking for Helm Backstage. Perfect, and I will port forward that. Okay, the port forward is open, so let me try and export the token. Quarkus Backstage token. The token is this one. In theory, I could get the token by coming to the console, getting all the available secrets, and I could get the token from here. It seems that I've used that in the past to set that environment variable, so it remember that. So let's now check if Quarkus Backstage template list works. No, it still doesn't, because it tries to connect to local port 7000 and it doesn't seem to work, even though we... Oh, it's 707. Okay. So also let's export the URL. And now it should work, hopefully. Yep, it does. So I'm wondering, yeah, if we need to set those environment variables in in Goose too. Most probably we need, so let me try to get back to the configuration, and they seem to have something for environment variables, but I'm not sure how this works and what's the exact format that I need to follow for specifying them. So let me try and add another extension and check what Goose actually does. Backstage test. JBang. Yes, I would like to create one called Quarkus Backstage URL. And the value should be, oh crap, HTTP localhost 7007. Another backstage, another environment variable, yes, Quarkus backstage token. I'm very prone at making silly typos, so I need to triple check. I have a tendency of typing Quarkus instead of Quarkus. Backstage token looks good to me. And now let me copy the token again, so I will get that from here. I will copy, paste. Yep. And hopefully I got it right. No, I don't in another. So let's see what was the actual format. Oh, yeah, it was pretty straightforward, so I will delete that. And I think I'm ready to go, and let me try and update my code so that I can grab the actual templates, client templates. Not sure why I can find templates with name. Why can't I list the templates? I would expect that I have a templates list or something like that. I have templates, entities, locations, so let me try with templates again. To string class. Okay, I have to know why. Let me jump to the Quarkus Backstage project and try to see what's wrong with the client. For some reason I can't find it. Oh, it's DSL templates. Yep. Let's go to template DSL spec. So do we have a list method here? No, no list template, just template instantiate. Okay, and then how does the template list command works? List command. Okay, it gets all the entities using kind template, so okay, we'll do the same. So instead of getting the templates, we will get too easy. Perfect. Okay, and now we should be able to run Goose again. Please list all my Backstage templates. Let's see what happens. Oh, holy shit, it worked. Quarkus REST client, Quarkus chatbot, Quarkus application, Quarkus quick start, which most probably is aligned with what we have here. Quarkus application, Quarkus chatbot, Quarkus application from quick starts, and Quarkus REST client. Okay, it worked. I'm wondering if I can please create a new project using the Quarkus application Backstage template. A new project has been successfully created using Quarkus application Backstage template. The project ID is blah blah blah. Let's see if that is correct. No, it seems that there is some sort of issue with that. But I'm wondering if this is an issue of the template, or if it's an issue. By issue of the template, I mean the template not being registered correctly. So let's see. Let me try and list all my entities. Yeah, I need to be inside an actual project. Silly bug. And I need to export those things again because I used a new terminal session. Have location, a template group, location, template. I would expect to see a component or something like that, which most probably has not been properly created. I think that I have an idea why this happens, and the main reason why that happens has to do with the actual template. Let me show you what I mean. I use the Quarkus application template, which when I use, usually have to go here and specify. Okay, this seems to be correct. most probably these are all correct, so they should work out of the box, but my Quarkus app, let me check GitHub, my Quarkus app, maybe there was some issue and the project could not be correctly created on a GitHub or something like that. GitHub.com my Quarkus app, page not found, so for some reason I couldn't find it. Let me try and instantiate the project from here and see if that works. Maybe there's nothing wrong with my MCP server. Maybe the issue is related with the Backstage template. However, the Backstage template was correctly created from here. I think that I know what the problem is, so let me come back and delete that and register that, and I will try to create that using through MCP and Goose. One thing that I need to do is this. One additional thing that I need to do is make sure that my Quarkus app and GitHub Quarkus app is deleted. Okay. So if I remember correctly how things work, when I call the instantiate method, I need to provide a map with parameters, but what I'm currently doing here is that I'm providing an empty map, which is most probably the reason why things fail. So what I'm going to do is that I'll try to get the default parameters, the defaults as they are defined inside the Backstage template, and try to pass them here. And I think that there is also a command that does something like that. The instantiate command does something similar. So let's see how the command works. The instantiate command initially it grabs the actual template. Okay. Yeah, that's too complicated. So let me check if there is an easier way to do that. Backstage template. Let's search. Backstage template info. So default values, and I will use the Quarkus application for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I will copy paste the defaults. Okay. and let me check if I can convert that to a map, and I will also use an object mapper, new object mapper. I'm wondering if I need to also add that data format YAML or something like that to my project, but let's see. So mapper, damn, I don't remember read value. String, okay, and I will read that as a map. Template parameters, but we need a map, so yeah, of course. Why would import work? Throws exception. Yay! And let's try that again and see how it works. That's perfect. So now all I need to do is I don't need that anymore. Maybe. So all I need to do is exit, restart my Goose session. Please create a new application using the Quarkus application Backstage template. Let's see. The new application has been successfully created using the Quarkus application. Let's try and see if we refresh whether we will see the app or not. No, again, it didn't work. Let's also check github.com, my repo. No, also that does not exist. Not sure why. Not sure why. With template name. Maybe I'm missing a property or something. Maybe I need to also... No, I don't think that I do. Let me check again what the instantiate command does. So the instantiate command starts an empty map. It has a values file, but what's the values file? Yeah, the values file that contains the YAML that I just okay, let me try and copy the exact thing. In my case, I don't have a values file, but what I do have type reference. Also, let me try with the serialization. Okay, and template parameters. Okay, that seems correct. And we will try with parameters. Okay, I will repeat that. Okay, let's try again. Push session. Create a new project using the Quarkus application template from Backstage. The project has been successfully created using Quarkus application Backstage template. Feel free to ask. Let's see. I don't see anything created on GitHub. I also don't see something there. No. But why not Quarkus application? Template name Quarkus application. That's correct. Let me try and return the actual parameters. just to see if it makes any difference. Also, I think that I don't need to wrap things in a hash map. I can directly do something like that. Oops. Unsupported return type. Okay, that makes sense. So okay, string. String, okay. Let me copy the and paste that to avoid typing the whole thing all the time. Okay, with the updating tool description, I seem to be getting more consistently the location ID. It seems that Backstage does return a location ID, but I don't really understand why it fails to create the project. And most probably this has to be with Backstage for some reason not being fed correctly the parameters that we provide. And these are the default values. Public github.com, the organization is correct. But for some reason exit. So if I create a template values file here, and paste the whole content, and then I do something like Quarkus backstage template instantiate using help, maybe I would find a way to pass those values as YAML to the template and try to see if there is an issue there. Values file equals templa okay, templa values and the template I'm going to use is Quarkus application, Quarkus. Template instantiation completed, but I do get an error here that Quarkus version to be processed cannot be empty, and most probably this is why it fails when I'm specifying the values here. Not sure what happens when this whole thing is done from within the actual command. So let's see what's the version it complains about. Quarkus version, right? Quarkus versions to be processed cannot be empty. And Templar values does not have one. God. Now let me try and get to the actual code of the extension. If I remember the actual code of the template, if I remember correctly, these are stored in the Backstage Playground project that I have on GitHub, where I define those. So let me go here, locations, templates, Quarkus application, templates, and we are looking at something that has to do with Quarkus version. Quarkus version, okay, and if I go back to the IDP, so I think that this whole mess has to do with that template being a little bit special, in the sense that it contains some Quarkus custom extensions for getting Quarkus versions and stuff like that. So maybe I could work this thing around by manually specifying the Quarkus version. And from what I see, the text field contains something like 319. Not sure if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a try. If it doesn't work, I could possibly use an alternative and create a simpler. The version needs to be formatted, blah 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 blah. Let's check the actual version from Quarkus.io, Quarkus, and get the latest. Okay, I will get the latest from 319 and see how it works. 319.4. I was saying that if I can't manage to get it working, then I will maybe try and start a new Backstage installation using the Quarkus Backstage Dev Service. Now it worked, okay. So let me jump back to IDP one more time to delete that, okay, and try to create that from Goose. I was saying that if I don't manage to get things working, I will use the dev service, which uses simpler templates that don't use custom extensions and custom Backstage plugins like the one that I just showed you. So what I need to do is also update the values from here. Quarkus version 319.4. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Do I have a good session open? Yes, I do. Exit. And let me paste. Your new project has been successfully created, blah blah blah. Let's go back and refresh. No! No, no. Oh, but it did. Maybe I forgot to delete the repo. Okay, let me give it another shot. Has been successfully created and the location rating is this one. Finally. Okay, now it worked. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It seems that I did manage to get it working, so why don't I try something else? I don't really like the fact that I have the values added here, so I would like to remove that, and I would like to pass them as another argument. So tool arg description equals the values file, that contains template parameters to be used, that contains the template parameters, and that would be path parameters file path. So in this case, we will unmorsel the parameters file path to file. Yeah, will that work? Yeah. Now I'm really curious if Goose will ask me to specify a path to such file if it doesn't already exist. If I don't specify it as part of the prompt, I mean, which is something that I want. Let me check. Okay, let me copy this the templa values file in my home directory so that it's easier for me to refer to that from Goose. Okay, I'm exiting, restarting. Pasting again the command. Okay, let's see what is going to happen right now. It seems to be running slower this time. Maybe, yeah, most probably because the parameter file path has not been specified, but I would expect it to, you know, to somehow prompt me back. Okay, no point. I will pass it as part of the prompt using /home templa values YAML. Let me verify. Templar values YAML. Aligning artificial awareness. Yeah, maybe it complains because I haven't deleted the entity, so maybe there is some sort of issue there. Maybe it barfed because of that. So let me delete those and try again. Wow, it seems that Goose is in trouble. Let me show you that I got it killed. Big kill Goose. So let's try again. Let's copy that and paste that back. It seems that now it recognized the tool arguments correctly. But it still seems to be working weirdly and taking forever, and I don't see anything being created. Okay, so maybe there's something there. Maybe it can recognize the path. Don't know. Let me try the full path. And see if it makes any difference. I'm also not sure what would happen if the program throws an exception. So let me try and add some sort of checking. If param files equals null, throw no illegal argument exception, missing parameter file, and see how it goes. I'm also wondering if it can recognize the path as a valid tool argument. But I would expect to throw a compilation error as it did when I tried to return a map instead of a string. So yeah. So let's exit and let's also try to restart the session. And now I will deliberately specify a wrong file. Yeah, and I would expect an immediate error. Oh, I checked for null, not for filing, not existing. Parameters, file path. Files exists. Parameters, file path. And do that if it doesn't exist. Not ready yet, so not so fast. Okay. Now let's try it again. So what was the prompt? Create a new project. Yeah, it seems that the project and the program is throwing an exception. The MCP server is throwing an exception, but Goose does not handle it gracefully. Let me check if Max mentions something in his post. If not, I will wrap it around. No references to exceptions, so yeah, maybe there is another way of doing error handling or something like that. So yeah, I will leave that for another time. So I will just try and see if it works with the correct path, so the full path. If this still doesn't work, the other alternative is to change the property to string and see if we get any luck with this approach. So let's do that. Wait, let me try and description file that contains blah blah blah. Yeah. So let's jump here and parameters file. And then we will create the path here. Last attempt. So we have create for some reason I can't seem to use Control V in Goose, not sure why. Yeah, and this time it seems that it worked. So let's jump back to IDP, to my Backstage. Yeah, we have again my Quarkus hub properly created. So, and I think that this is the perfect point to wrap everything up. What we've seen in this video is me trying to understand and implement from scratch an MCP, let's say, plugin that I used for Goose. The MCP that I used made use of the Quarkus Backstage extension in order to initially list available templates that are stored in my Backstage installation, and then to instantiate those templates for me. I think that there is a lot of room for playing in this field with Backstage and tooling and MCP and stuff. So most probably I will create more content in that front. And yeah, a lot of different technologies, a lot of interesting, shiny new stuff. I hope you like this kind of content, and till next time, bye bye.